Hey everyone, welcome to All Astrology. We're doing a free reading. This is something that we do for new subscribers. This is something that we're offering to our new subscribers to our YouTube channel.
This is A and G All Astrology, and this is G.
And I'm Amy,
And
or Ms. A.
Burning the Sage, so we can do a free subscriber reading.
Okay, so our date of birth for this free reading is January 22nd, 1961 at 2:41 p.m. Okay?
Awesome.
Alrighty. So we're going to just jump right in. Oh, in order to be able to get a free reading, if you would like one.
Yeah, a little bit of business.
First you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You need to click the bell, click the bell, click the bell. You need to scroll all the way down past all of the videos if you're on your phone. Comment below, leave us, if you would like the reading, leave us your birth information. What we're going to begin with is an event that you went through when you were about 7.5. So it would have been the summer of 1968.
Energy looks like there was definite tension, right?
Right.
Something that caused major tension. It would have involved your emotional world, deep emotional world. It also would have involved another individual, probably an older individual. How much older? I don't know exactly how much older, but somebody that you looked up to, someone that could have been considered a friend.
Or a neighbor or a friend of the family.
Definitely someone, it seems to be someone, though, who was considered an authority figure in some shape or way. Okay, so you know what that looked like in your life at that time. Okay.
We also get the feeling that this is not something that you've talked about or discussed maybe ever.
Possibly, yeah. You have a lot of energy in the area of the chart where you can, I don't want to say hold on to things, but that's what it is. You can, a lot of times people consider this energy as, well, these people may not tell the whole story all the time.
Right.
Because things are very personal, very private. And so you basically take them and bury them way deep. And it's not about wanting to be deceiving. It's more about
wanting to protect yourself.
Yeah. And that your insides are like this vast, super deep ocean, right? And so you would likely have put this event, and there might have been a couple of events. I'm not sure if this was a repetitive thing, but it was something that I know. I think we're pushing each other on the chairs here.
We're bumping each other.
I'm trying to turn. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
It would have been something that also had a lot to do with your thinking, and it would have clouded your judgment. It would have clouded your judgment.
It probably would have been something that you were told was going to be fun, was going to be a secret, and was going to be something special.
Well, definitely fun, because it involves the area of the chart which is about taking a risk and having a good time and kind of adventurous, because typically your friends, you like that. You would like adventurous kind of people who are action orientated, who may seem kind of risk-takey, kind of like out there in a sense where they're just fun. You know, it's kind of like the same way you like Aries people. You know, hers is her groups of friends.
Yeah.
But yours is you like, what is it about them you like? There's a youthfulness about them that appeals.
Definitely.
Which is funny. That kind of almost contradicts what we just said.
They crack me up.
That this was an individual who was older. Now, when we say older can be physically older, but we all know, if we've been around the block, we all know individuals can be older in lots of different ways.
Right. Just
like we can meet older people who are very young. Not necessarily young at heart. They're just very young in the way they think, right?
Yeah.
So, but this was someone that was considered in some way for you, probably an authority figure, okay? Right. But somehow presented this as part of being something to do with your social circle, maybe an authority figure within a group that you were affiliated with.
Could be.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling. Yeah. So now we brought this up. This was like, what did you say? Summer of 1968.
Yep.
You were like 7.5 years old or something like that we looked at. It was a deep deep emotional thing.
Yep.
We're talking about this because, first of all, we'd like to establish the validity of the chart. So if this makes no sense to you at all, you would be like, oh, wait a minute. This probably isn't my chart then. These events should line up for you. And if they don't, we want to know. This is important. This is why we go back in time and we talk about events to see, okay, does this make sense for this person? Now, if we speed up to date a little bit here, and we move you to present day. So we'll go to September, right? Is that what we're going to do?
2019, baby.
2019. Yeah, it is September 3rd, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Where'd the year go?
Okay, go to September 3rd, 2019. So again, there's tons of things to talk about. Everyone's got free will, so a lot of things can express a different way. So we do talk about things in generalities because that gives room for your free will to come through. Again, we are seeing this theme, significant one-on-one relationships, partnerships. Could be business partnerships also. And
it could be like a marriage type relationship. It could be like your closest friendship relationship, or it could be a very close business partnership. However, the problem that and the probability is that either that relationship is going to dissolve or break apart or somehow come to an end, or it's going to go through a radical change and come out the other side very different than the way it looks now.
Yeah, and this energy in one-on-one relationships.
It's going to be different. It's going to be hard. Go ahead.
This energy in the one-on-one relationships and going through basically like a slowdown where it feels like, okay, this stuff's standing still. We're not growing. We're not progressing. What did we say? The end of 2018? There would have been a noticeable impact, like when Saturn came along.
Yeah.
Here. So this is that same thing. It's just older now.
It would have felt like this relationship was putting a constraint on you. It would have felt like
restrictions.
Like there would have been restrictions put around you. Like this relationship was just not working. Like it felt binding to you.
This year, you already are aware of all this. This already happened. We know that because we see if this is the right birth time, if this is your chart, we know that you already experienced a lot of restrictions, a major slowdown. Unfortunately, what happens is planets go backwards. And we're trying to think of a name. It's like someone's in a car, they accidentally or whatever, they
drove over you.
They smacked, they ran over something, and then they put the car in reverse and backed up,
tried to see what it was they ran over.
Right.
Looked at it, and then thought, okay, well, let me run over it again. I already ran over it once.
They go forward, twice. They go back over it again. So usually the first time is the worst. And so one of the things we didn't mention yet and that we need to talk about that are all involved in this is your Saturn return, which you've probably heard about already. And if you don't know what a Saturn return is, I'll let you quickly tell her what a Saturn return is.
Okay, a Saturn return happens to you essentially twice in your, well, it can happen 3 times if you live into your 90s, but essentially 2 major times in your life. It happens in your late 20s or early 30s, right before you're 30, and then right at the end of your 50s to 60. And Saturn is the planet of learning life lessons. And when it comes back to the point in your chart where it started when you were born, basically it's like saying, okay, when you were born, Saturn, you made a deal with Saturn, and you said, this is what I want to learn and this is what I want to do with my life. And if you've gotten back and Saturn's getting close to that point and Saturn sees you coming back around and says, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it's going to disrupt your life and put you back on the path that you're supposed to be on.
So ultimately, this is a good thing.
Ultimately, it doesn't feel good when it's happening. Okay, so this happens typically right before you're 30, right before you're 60. So you're going through that right now.
Yeah.
You are in the midst of it.
Yeah, and I know there might be this, there may be or might not because, well, Pluto is a factor. We're not going to even get into that. And it's there, right on top of your natal Saturn. So there might be, you might have noticed less restriction in the last couple of months. You might have noticed things weren't as restrictive or as slow, and they might have started...
finally moving a little
bit.
bit.
Yeah, it might have just felt like you had a little bit more wiggle room. This is not to be mean.
Yet.
No, this is to give you a heads up that what's going to happen is there's going to be a replay. There's going to be a rerun. How's that? There's going to be a rerun. And again, it probably won't be as extreme in the sense that it's something that's already occurred. So you're kind of familiar to this. And that's why we presented it this way, so that you realize this already happened in your one-on-one relationships. This is kind of going to be part 2 of that, or maybe even part 3 of that.
Yeah.
Okay? But at this time, it's going to get to the point where, okay, we're really going to break this down to the bare minimum, to the root level.
We're going to just pull this out. It's almost like you're taking the plant and you're going, okay, you're just not growing the way I want you to grow. So, and I've had you in this spot all this time. If you're a gardener, you'll understand. I'm just going to dig you up and I'm going to move you to a completely different spot in the yard, and I'm going to replant you, and I'm going to give you new plant food, and I'm going to give you some new soil, and we're going to see if this is going to work.
And sometimes you're the one who does that, or sometimes it's the other person who takes the initiative and says, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works. Either it's something, energy coming from us, or energy coming at us. Okay?
And sometimes it's a matter of this plant isn't working in this spot. Dig it up. Put it in yard waste bin.
Okay. So...
And I hate to say that, but...
Oh, no, these are the realities of life.
That's reality. And I just dug up a whole garden worth of plants the other day. So
the good thing in all of this is that Saturn does its job. It gets us back to where it wants us to be, which is where you initially basically said, this was my goal. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to accomplish. This is what I want to learn. Okay? And so the universe helps us to do that. Okay?
Yeah. A good, really quick example. When I was 28 years old, I was married. I was working. I hated my job. Wasn't real fond of my husband either. And I wanted to go back to art school, which is something I had wanted to do for a long time. And I told my husband at the time that I wanted to go back to art school, that I had applied. And he looked at me and he goes, I didn't go to school all these years to get a degree so that I could get a better job, so that you could quit your job and go back to school and I could support you. And I looked at him and I said, but you knew I wanted to go back to art school when I married you. And he goes, I don't care. So this was right at the time of my Saturn return. I ended up divorcing my husband, moving out, getting a different job, and completely changing my life. And eventually, I even ended up moving 2 states away and going back to a different art school. So Saturn sets you on a completely different path sometimes if you're not where you're supposed to be.
Okay. So this is all good things. Again, doesn't feel like it when we're going through it, but it is ultimately good. How do we relate the good to your chart?
Well, here's where we're going to go. There's another signature in your chart known as the North Node. And the North Node is in a location where what it tells us is what it is that is your goal. And part of your goal is to help to heal others. And one of the ways that you need to reach out and help to heal others is through your personal experience.
Your personal painful experiences.
Your personal painful experience. So whether you've talked about or dealt with or have processed what you've been through, this is the time to do it. Because your personal painful experience is something that you can then take and you can use that to help other people to heal.
Most definitely.
This is something that I've done a lot in my own life. And this is something that G can vouch for, that I do on a regular basis. As a college instructor, I do it with my students all the time. I talk about my own personal experiences that were horrifying growing up, and I use it as a way to connect to them and to help them to grow and to heal. So this is what we would like you to do, if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, so. And this is what we're reading. This is what you basically decided you were going to do. I'm going to have these experiences. These experiences will give me this wisdom and this knowledge, and then I am going to take that and share it. And now, again, we were saying this earlier, it's not necessarily so much about giving out specific details, but it's taking the meanings of those events, taking the big lessons, and sharing them to others who can then find healing basically in something that you had to go through.
Right. And that doesn't mean that you tell everything, that you share everything. It means that you find a creative, innovative, interesting way of taking your pain and expressing it, because you have a tremendous amount of creative energy within you that has the ability to find unique and interesting ways to express it so that other people can connect into what you've been through, so that they can then heal what they've been through.
Yeah, you have a spot in your chart which is it's a signature spot of creativity. And you have a lot of support from the universe there, which helps you to connect to the other side. And so you have a strong connection. Basically, I like to call it an antenna, where the antenna comes in and you're tuned in there and you go to this other place. It's a place that's not in a physical plane. And if you can somehow bring some of that down and integrate it with those things that you've experienced, whether it's passion, desire, anger, fear, whatever it is, give it maybe some sort of a visible, tangible product. This would be healing, not just for you, but for many others.
I recently heard a medium channeling a really interesting message that said that all creative energy is channeled energy. And it's simply the angels channeling the energy through us to express, so that we can share that energy with the rest of the world, so that other people can learn and grow and experience and love and find joy and experience sadness through the things that we put out to them in the universe. And I thought that was really phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. So use your creative energy for that purpose if you haven't already tapped into that. This would definitely be a time after this is all said and done, which looking down the road for you, for everybody actually, looking down the road, January is going to be a time.
Yeah.
Beginning of January, like, I don't know, actually January 13th, 14th. You can look to things coming to a point where you're ready to, so to speak, just let go of what's not working.
Yeah.
And start rebuilding something new.
Yeah. Everybody's going to be having a point somewhere in their life where that's going to happen. And this is going to be a really good time for you to really begin to realign yourself for this kind of work.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good to me.
If there's anything more that we can do for you or help you with, or that you want us to look into further, please get in touch with us. Let us know. We would be more than happy to dig deeper for you and to look up further for you and see what else that we can dig up for you, because there's so much more information out there that we would be more than happy to take. So give us an indication as to your reaction to what we've had to say. We would really appreciate it.
All right, until next time. Thank you.
Have a good one.